Right now, thousands of American air cavalrymen are locked in battle with North Vietnamese regulars. The area of slaughter is Chu Pong in the central highlands, north of Saigon and near the Cambodian border. There's been exchange of artillery fire, hand-to-hand combat, and more than 1,000 of the enemy have been killed. Our losses, too, have been heavy. For the first time, huge B-52 bombers from Guam have dumped death on the enemy on the move and in direct support of ground action. Smaller American aircraft also have been affected in this area. ABC's Xray went on a mission.
The Army probably won't agree with this, at least publicly, but one of the great factors in turning the tide in Vietnam has been American air power. It's airstrikes like these that have kept the Viet Cong on the run, forced them to break up their large troop concentrations and devastated and wrecked their supply routes and ammo dumps. That light aircraft you see is the FAC, the Forward Air Controller, who swoops low over suspected BC areas, virtually daring them to open fire on him, and then, when they do, marks the target with phosphorus rockets and calls in the fighters. Not much can live, unless it's very lucky indeed, under that kind of attack. Those Navy propeller-driven Sky Raiders, for instance, they each carry more ordnance than one of the old World War II Flying Fortress bombers. Anywhere the Viet Cong raises its head, those planes are on the scene within minutes. They saved the day at the siege of the Special Forces camp at Clay May, streaking down to rip the attacking Viet Cong apart. This is a weapon against which the Viet Cong has virtually no defense. Xray Maloney, ABC News, aboard a FAC plane near the Cambodian border.
It was a laughing night in one of the major battles of the Vietnam War. The fighting's been going on for 2 days in a deep valley between the Cambodian border and the Clay May Special Forces camp. During that time, 1,000 U.S. 1st Cavalry troopers have been pinned down and all but encircled by 3 battalions of North Vietnamese regulars, perhaps 2,000 men. Early today, B-52s came to the rescue, dropping more than 350 tons of bombs on the communists. It's estimated at least 350 of the North Vietnamese were killed, but the survivors still held their positions along the mountainside tonight. American officials said their casualties were moderate, but reporters at the scene say they are heavy. One platoon of 30 men was all but wiped out. A U.S. plane accidentally dropped napalm on another American platoon, inflicting severe casualties. Medics were so busy that wounded soldiers had to help administer blood plasma to their more seriously wounded comrades. And more than a dozen helicopters spent a good part of the day carrying off the U.S. wounded and then the dead.
Just single engagement in the Vietnam War, and it may not be over yet. But by actual count, the 66th Regiment of the North Vietnam Army, only 15 days in South Vietnam, has taken 868 casualties in dead, and there are certain to be more. No Viet Cong were engaged in the battle. The brunt of the enemy's human wave attacks has been taken by General Custer's old unit, the 1st Battalion of the 7th Cavalry. American casualties are heavy, but no figures have been released. At least 2 other North Vietnamese regiments are believed to be in the area of Chu Pong Mountain, and that's why the battle may not be over.